That night, I woke up in Samuel's house and everyone was cheering like that I've won the eviction.
Elijah, you are the 2024 winner.
Literally, I woke up in the morning, I was just like, wait, that was a dream.
Elijah Ramsay, winner of Eviction 2024, is a rising star in UK property scene. From a broke architecture graduate to a financially free deal sourcer, he's carved a powerful path through strategy, grit, and vision.
When you won that, your prize was to get a whole week with Samuel Leeds. So what was that like?
Before it happened, I kept asking Samuel, like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? And he was just like, just keep staying.
When you think about the psychology of it, the person then wants to make the deal work. Whereas if they're the ones asking the questions, they want the deal to not work.
In selling the deal, you have to go in the investor's shoes. If they say no, then you know, like, basically the phone call's gonna be a kind of waste of time.
You went from having £2,000 in the bank to being able to buying a house and making £20,000 in a week.
The reason why I joined the academy is because I wanted to be financially free. I wanted to have that money. I wanted like to own an asset because no one in my family's ever owned a property.
We'll get back to the interview in a moment. First, do you ever feel like the system is designed to keep you broke while the rich get richer? Well, we're here to help you flip the script. Our podcast, a newsletter, breaks down the 4 phases of wealth. Ditch bad debts, make your money work for you, take smart risks, and systemize for true freedom. If you want tips and exclusive content to build your wealth, click the link in the description to join our newsletter and take your first step to becoming self-unemployed. So Elijah was the winner of the eviction in 2024. And I think it's fair to say your life's been sort of turned upside down since then, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's start then. When you won that, your prize was to get a whole week with Samuel Leeds, training you one-on-one, getting you to become financially free, right? Which is what this podcast is all about. So what was that like? What was it like spending a week with Samuel?
Honestly, like, so before it happened, like I was doing so much in preparation. I kept asking Samuel, like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do? And he was just like, look, Elijah, take it easy, just rest, but do one thing. Like, promise me to do one thing. And I was like, where's that? And he's like, just keep staying broke at the moment.
Okay.
So he told me, stay broke, spend as much money as you want, even though you don't have any money, because I didn't have money at all. But he says, stay broke and don't worry too much. We're gonna learn everything on the way. And it will be good to jog up some memory or do some self-education, but just like chill. So I did the opposite. I started like increasing my knowledge and education even more because I was like, you know what, I wanna impress Samuel. Whatever it is, I wanna make sure like I'm on point. I don't want him to be thinking, what the hell? This is my student, and he doesn't know fuck all basically. So it then all started where he came on the Sunday, and he didn't experience the traffic in London. Yeah. Literally packed it. He was supposed to come like an hour earlier, but he came like a whole hour, 30 minutes. And that's because he had to take a whole nother route because the Blackwall Tunnel was closed and the ferry was closed. So he had to go on the outskirts. So then he finally came. Me and my family just all waiting in the house. We're all just like, my family's all like nervous because they've never met Samuel before. I was excited because I'm like so gassed, like happy. My parents like done extra on top. They cooked up a nice Jamaican cuisine for him. They're trying to convert him from the Caribbean, from Africa into the Caribbean.
Okay.
with the food. So we was all waiting, and then he finally arrived. He called me. He got the camera and stuff ready. And before he put the mic on me, I literally told Samuel, bro, you need to move from that position because where he parked.
Where he's parked, yeah. Well, that was in the show.
Yeah. Where he was parked, like literally, it was like the worst street in my area. Yeah. Like a week before, there was a fire that happened, and there was a whole fight where a friend of mine's actually got stabbed.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he died. So he parked on the worst street, and I was worried because he's there in a nice shiny gold Range Rover.
He's got a gold Range Rover, yeah.
I'm like, bro, you need to move this straight. And then we went to the car, and we literally, as soon as we tried to move it, that's when 2 people came up to him.
Really?
And I was like, oh my gosh, like we haven't even got started in this already yet. And I'm at this point, I'm kind of moving a bit nervous because I'm like, I don't know if Samuel can, you know, I have to get ready. We've done the Samuel Sunday boxing. I was getting my stance ready just in case. So he was like, yo, Samuel.
He can handle himself better than most
people. He definitely can handle himself. But still, it was like, I don't know what's going to happen. But he said, the guy said, yo, Samuel. And Samuel said, what's up? And the guy was like, look, can I take a picture? Like, I've seen your courses, this is sick, can I take a picture?
Right.
So he took a picture.
Yeah, that's in there as well. There's a guy. Yeah.
Like it's in there, it's legit.
So you thought they were coming to rob you?
I thought I was coming to rob him and the car, because like I've seen it in my own eyes before. Like I'm literally in the
and the guys with the cameras as well.
Yeah, exactly. Literally in the space of 2 minutes, 5 people came up and asked for a picture. And literally Samuel was like, I don't know, I don't get this much love in Woolwich than in Warsaw. Like everyone in Warsaw hates him, but in Woolwich, everyone's just showing love. He even made a joke saying he may even start a crash course in Woolwich. But then, from there on, he went to see my family. They were all so nice to him. He loved it. We're just laughing here and there. Like my family we're all loud as hell. Like all ADHD, so we just bounce off Samuel's energy. So we're just laughing throughout.
Yeah. So, but what's the plan then for him to stay?
Yeah.
To stay with you, or
the plan was for him to stay, but it was just one of those ones. The Wi-Fi in that area was just terrible. Like literally, when I call agents, the phone just like dies, or they sound like a robot. So we tried it as well, and so we tried it with the cameraman being outside, me trying to call him, just wasn't working. So obviously, with deal selling, you need to have good internet, you need to have a good phone signal. Yeah. So we then ended up going to a nearby hotel. So the plan was to stay, but we had to go to a nearby hotel. Otherwise the challenge would have been a fail. Yeah. So that's when we went to a nearby hotel. We went to a nice little Premier Inn, the Beefeater. We couldn't go to the Travel Lodge because again, that one's a dangerous hotel. There's a few like crackheads around in the area that would, cause a bit of issues. So we went to that hotel, and I thought we would rest that night. But Samuel being Samuel, he's just straight into the action. And to be fair, following up from the eviction, I literally had no sleep through them challenges. So I was kind of like,
So how soon after the eviction was it?
It was 2 months, Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So you had some time to rest.
Yeah, I had some time. 2-3 months. So I had a bit of time to rest. But it was like.
But you couldn't tell anyone that you'd won.
Yeah, I couldn't tell anyone. You know what?
They hadn't put the show out yet.
Yeah, I'd done it very well though, because even when I went to Uganda and I donated in charity, and I still couldn't tell anyone.
Right.
And I just
But people must have guessed that. Why is?
To be fair,
you coming, not anyone else, and.
I know, true say, but they were Samuel made it so, like, unobvious. He made it clear. Like, people just thought, Samuel's just being nice to him because he's probably lost, but he just likes him, like, as that guy. And I did not mention it to no one, literally. I kept so quiet because I like to keep things humble anyway. But I just kept saying, it was a good experience, but you know what? It's really, I've learned from it. Yeah. But I wanted to say that as well, because when people found out I've won, it's just gonna be, I'm gonna have a big smile on my face and just see that reaction. So a lot of people thought Ruben actually won, and they were telling me, look, please make sure Ruben didn't win. Although I loved Ruben, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it? Let's get back to what was it like on that week?
Yeah.
I mean, and you moved around the country a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, we moved around the country. So, all right, going back from the hotel, we then, Samuel asked me, he specifically asked me, like, what is my main goals? And like, I've watched, so one of my biggest preparation was watching the rest of the financial freedom challenges, like Evans, Lawton, Amelia, and they were all based on rent to rents. And before the financial freedom challenge, I actually had one rent to rent, which I found in like 3 weeks of the academy. And it was doing like decent, like breaking even, making a little bit of money. But I just realized rent to rent wasn't something that was my main goal. Like my main goal was to
but build. You were doing that one. You hadn't. It's not one that you'd sold to someone else.
It's not one that I sold. So I was doing that one, and it's like I wanted like to own an asset because no one in my family's ever owned a property. Like, that was a dream to me. So I kind of said to Samuel, like, can we kind of do this where, like, it's instead of it being based around rent to rent, I kind of want to like own a property. And he was like, okay, that's different. We can do that, tick. And it was like, what else? What else would you want from this? I said, bro, I want to be financially free. I want to make a whole load of money, right? And like whatever strategy that is, and like preferably deal sourcing. And I was like, no, we're gonna do that because that was one of my strengths in Eviction on one of the challenges. And then I said to him, also a big thing that I wanted to do when I told myself, the reason why I joined the academy is because I wanted to be financially free. I wanted to have that money. And the person that supported me the whole time was my partner at the time. And she was like she was my girlfriend. We were going on dates, and she was paying for the dates. All of this and that. It really, and I really appreciated her for that, because like I wouldn't have found no other woman in this day and generation that would do that. And I just always told myself, well, once I am financially stable, I'm gonna straight away put a ring on her finger. And I told Samuel that this is what I wanted to do. And in the video, I did refund. So when I got made redundant from work, I refunded the ring to be able to, pay for living expenses. So I told him, look, if I make extra money, I do want to do that. So he said, look, let's do it. And there we go. We're in the hotel now. We're in a hotel, and he's now telling me that, we need to find some deals quickly. We need to find a few BRRs within the area of London, and ones that, are preferably all money out, short lease extensions, which like he taught me about, and I did not know what the hell it was. I didn't even know what a freehold and a leasehold property was. But he told me the difference. He told me how lucrative short lease extensions are. This is a strategy I actually do now.
I've seen you posting a few of those deals.
So I've literally purchased one now. But back then, so he was like, we need to make around like 23 grand in selling deals, and with that money we're going to put in towards a deposit for us to buy a house. And when he was telling me that, I was like, what the hell? Like just for myself in that moment, not even owning the property and just being around Samuel, I was just like, I was like a fan. I was so starstruck hearing him saying like, we're going to make 23 grand in this week and you're going to buy a house. And like, so just hearing,
because that's what, most people make in a year. I know. Or a lot of people make in a year,
Literally, that's what I was building called 𝐂𝐨𝐥𝐤. That was my annual salary, 23 grand. So when another man is telling me I'm going to make 23 grand in 7 days and buy a house, I'm just like, I'm just so flipping excited. I thought I was dreaming. It was literally a whole dream that 7 days. So he told me that, and he said, look, let's get to work. We went, found a few deals online. My computer was all slow. I had Bing. It wasn't even Google Chrome. And he was just laughing at me. He was like, look, bro, you need a new computer. Like, that's one more thing you need to get after this challenge. I still use the same computer. I can't even lie. I use a computer and my iPad and phone. So we found a few good deals through in the Greenwich area where my patch is. And so London BRR deals sell for around 6 to 7K. So we found good opportunities where it was like, look, we're going to sell these for 6, 7K. We're going to sell at least 3 of them, make that money, and buy this property. So we went around Greenwich, went to a few estate agents. And before we went into the estate agents, he said, like, we're not just going to go into random estate agents. Like, we're going to make sure, like, we call them and they have what we're looking for. So it's more time efficient. So that's when I first picked up the phone calls. And he was like, let me see how you do on a phone call. Or do you want to hear me first? And I was like, let me hear you first. Heard Samuel first, and then I done my turn. That's when I ended up saying, thanks for flipping nothing. And
what were you thinking when you said that? Was it just...
It was just, you know what, it was... I honestly, I still don't know. Like, I watch it back and I was like...
Well, Samuel had just said that to you.
Yeah.
While the call was muted. So you were probably just repeating what he said.
I was literally repeating what he was saying, and I knew I was getting filmed. Because Samuel kept saying, like, off camera.
Did you occur to you at the time that might come across as rude?
Not really. Not
afterwards.
It just came afterwards. I was like, oh my days, I don't want to. That's the last thing I want to do. Be rude. And funny enough, that same agent has helped out my family to this day finding a new house. Which
has he seen this? Do you reckon he's seen the show?
I think he's definitely seen the show. I still haven't met him in person, but that's still due to come. But it was like Simon kept saying off camera, I was so natural. We were just speaking like brothers. And when it's on the camera, I'm like this EastEnder character. And just like, Elijah, look, just be yourself. Like, just, you're so comfortable off camera. Just forget the camera's here. But sometimes it's quite difficult. Despite being on Eviction, that being my first time on camera, it was quite difficult. Samuel's he's just so used to it and like on fire. And I just kept like listening to what he's saying. So that's when that came out. But then eventually I started getting better. I built some great relationships with agents in the Greenwich area, which I still use them to this day. Yeah. And some of them have signed up to the academy, which is great.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. So then from Greenwich, we had a few deals that we had lined up. And before we was going to sell it, we then went straight to the Midlands. Samuel asked me, all right, now we need to find a cheap ass property, yeah, up in the Midlands. He was like, look, choose an area. And I was like, oh, you know what, yeah? I'm a bit
But this is the one for you to buy.
Yeah,
right?
this is one for me to buy. And I was like, look, I'm a bit of a football fan and I support Manchester United, right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do Manchester, because originally he was like, find something like in a Grimsby area where it's just crazy cheap. I was like, oh, can I just find somewhere in the Manchester area? At least I want something of a team I support from young. I was like, all right, cool. We ended up looking at Manchester, but we went around the outskirts where Burnley is. So we headed down to Burnley, and we actually went there with 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤. You know,
All right, yeah.
𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 in Academy. She was lovely, by the way. She was so much great help, because that's her patch. And so we had her on the side, inside, grabbed her out. She was seeing the whole behind the scenes as well. Literally, we went to, every time we'll go to like McDonald's or a cafe shop, we're just getting stopped left, right, centre, because everyone's just like, they know Samuel Leeds.
Yeah.
Samuel was like, yeah, this is my good friend, so he's bigging me up as well. I felt like the guy in the 7 days. Cameraman just next to Samuel Leeds. So yeah, we went down to Burnley now, and we found a few off-market deals, like really good ones. It was funny because we came across one of the estate agents, 𝐂𝐚𝐥𝐤, Leanne, brilliant agent. She helped us a lot. And 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 had actually had one of the deal I bought. 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 actually had access to that deal as well, because she knows the patch, she knew the agents. But because they knew that I was with Samuel Leeds, like we actually got there first, because she was about to sell that deal. So we got the off-market deal first. And that's obviously because of the presence of Samuel Leeds. And so that's the power of just being with Samuel. We got it off-market.
So how did 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 feel about that? You must be pretty...
I ended up giving 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 another commercial to residential deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you patched it up.
Yeah, we patched it up with 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤, which is good.
I might get her on the show actually at some point. We've talked about it.
Yeah, no, she's brilliant. I love her. So yeah, I gave her one of those deals. But still, we still did find it. But all right, so we had that lined up, and now we just needed the cash. So with the existing deals we had, we then went back to Samuel's house, and in between these journeys, yeah, like we were just having we had so much real talk, me and Samuel. He was like giving me quizzes what Amanda would like give like guests that will come to the house, and we had like similar answers with a lot of stuff. Like I just feel like I'm someone that vibes with someone's energy, and I like, even if Samuel wasn't my mentor or anything, I feel like we'd just get along as friends, because like even he's a crazy guy. I'm a crazy person. He's proper outgoing. He loves boxing. He's an entrepreneur. I just you know,
he's non-stop. I've seen.
Yeah,
I spent 2 days at the ACPP last week.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And you know, whenever we went out on a break, he was out on his phone doing deals, and then coming in and teaching us stuff. It was he's non-stop, intense. I don't think I could keep up with, if I had gone on the Eviction and won. I don't think I could have kept up with his energy.
He's a great multitasker. Yeah. One thing I can say, he does reply to all of his messages on Instagram. I've physically seen it. He'll be driving and he'll be answering every message. He'll send voice notes, and I was just like, whoa, it's actually not his PA. He's answering all his messages. Samuel is a legitimate guy. He's a man of his word. So then we went to his house. Crazy mansion. Like I've actually never been in a mansion in the UK before, let alone like any other country. So we went to his mansion, met his family, Amanda, his little children.
Yeah.
His son was just punching my stomach the whole time. And his little, his children's lovely. I've got a favourite daughter of his, which I can't say the name, but I've got a favourite. She calls me Uncle Elijah.
Okay, so cool.
That made me feel happy. He obviously accommodated me his brilliant room. It was like twice the size of any Premier Inn hotel. It's ridiculous. So then in that morning, he said, look, Elijah, get some rest, because we're going to be selling these deals. Yeah, we can't fuck up. Otherwise, you know, we don't have no property to buy. Yeah.
So you'd already made the offer, you needed to get some money in your bank to show you got proof of funds for the deposit, basically. Yeah. So that was basically like the narrative of the show.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, we made that offer, and because we were cash buyers, we then needed to
actually get the
purchase.
Cash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then we were in the process of selling the deals, and someone wanted to just see how I do it.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, I'm someone I do when I'm speaking, it's like non-stop. Some say I waffle. I would say I'm not a waffler, but some do say I waffle. But I have this way of turning around a conversation to my benefit somehow. Although it's a bit wishy-washy, but it's like I'm just persistent with energy, and it just ends up working. So we had a phone call, and it just went on for 40 minutes. Samuel was like laughing non-stop throughout the phone call because like the investors seemed like they just wanted to end the phone call, and then they were interested, wanted to end the phone call. And it came to one part when she literally said, "Look, I can tell you're Samuel's student." And then Samuel just started laughing, running around the whole room, just dying because I literally just said, "Why would you say that?" And Samuel was...
So they wanted to end the call and get rid of you because they weren't interested.
Because they weren't interested. But I kept on like going forward with it, and they literally said, "Look, I can tell you're a student, like just the way you are." And I was like, "Why would you say that?" And she was like, "Oh no, bless you, this and that." She's like, "Look, send over the details, and I'll get back to you in an hour in purchasing the deal." So that was like good news. But Samuel was just like laughing throughout, and he was like, "Look, you need some lessons. I need to teach you." And that's when he got his master techniques out, and he said, "Look, I need the board and the pen." So he went to go find a board and the pen. Can you imagine? In his big ass mansion, he didn't even have a board and the pen. Like he's got everything else. He's got flipping sparkling water on the taps. Like he literally asked me, "Elijah, what do you prefer, water or sparkling water?" I was like, "Oh, sparkling water," because I'm a bit of an Andrew Tate fan, so I like sparkling water.
Okay.
And then, but then he literally done it from the taps. I was like, I asked for sparkling water, Samuel. I can't lie. And he was like, "Yeah, sparkling water."
Cool.
And I was like, "What the hell? I've never seen taps that just bring out sparkling water." So that was one thing I was just like, "What the, like, that's crazy." But anyway, he needed a board and pen. So he said, "Look, let's go to Russell's house." And I was just thinking, how far is that going to be? He's like, "No, it's just a 2-minute walk." So we then walked a secret passageway. We went to some like nice little alley, went in. We saw the school that his children and Russell's children actually study in with the teachers in there. Saw them in action. Then we went to Russell's house, and Russell was just looking at me like, "Bro, who the hell is this guy?" I think that was like the first time I actually met Russell properly, although I've seen him on stage. So I then went in. Samuel gave me all of the steps, and it was just basically 3 steps. It was take ownership of the conversation, pre-qualify it first of all, and then like making sure they're in the position to reserve the deal if the deal fits their criteria, and then asking them what do they need from us in order to proceed. So the steps are like, if you find a deal, it will be something like, "So in order for me to check this deal suitable for yourself, or can I ask you a few questions?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, sure." So if you're selling a BRR deal, it will be like, if you want to know if they're cash buyer, you basically ask if they're cash buyer, or you ask like, do they have proof of funds, this and that stuff that you know that is needed in the deal. Because the real question you want to ask them is, do you have the money to be able to reserve this deal if it suits your criteria? But you can't ask that straight away. You need to ease into it. So
but it's really interesting how, like you say, you take charge of the conversation by you being the one asking the questions. And then when you think about the psychology of it, the person then wants to make the deal work because they want to qualify.
Exactly.
They want to look good.
I know.
Whereas if they're the ones asking the questions, it's the other way around. They want the deal to not work, or they want to not buy it.
Exactly. You know what? It's actually funny you say that, because like I'm kind of investor now. Like I've got some investor finance. I would buy those now as well. And I get that. Like you always, in selling the deal, you have to go in the investor's shoes. And you're right, that psychology of them, you asking the questions, they then feel like, you know what?
They need to prove themselves.
They need to prove themselves. They need to fit these criteria. And if they don't, how can they fit? They'll think, if they don't have the proof of funds, how can they get the proof of funds? If they don't have the right cash, or if they're not in a position to proceed with the deal, how can they proceed with the deal? When can they? And I've had a few people that weren't in a position to reserve, but they made sure they got the money. They were in a position like in the next following days. So it's that psychology. Once they answer all in questions, you then ask the big one: are you in a position to reserve? If they say no, then like basically the phone call's gonna be a kind of waste of time.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna say that to their face like rudely. You're just gonna say, all right, this deal is not gonna be a fit for you at this meantime, but you know, I'm still here in future if I'll be posting my group chat, this and that. But if they say yes, that's when you say, okay, perfect. What is it you want to ask me in order for you to proceed?
Right.
Then
So at that point, once you know they got the money,
exactly.
then you let them ask you some questions.
Yeah. And then they'll think, and sometimes they don't even have questions. They will just think of some questions as well. But you will literally get them to ask all that needs asking. You answer them all. And then you say, any more? And they'll be like, no, that's it. And you say, all right, perfect. How soon can you pay? You go straight into that in closing them. How soon can you pay? Then they realize, look, he's answered all my questions. I've answered his. I've told him I'm ready to reserve. They kind of feel, if they now say, oh, I can't pay, they feel embarrassed because they've told us that they're ready. So they didn't tell us how soon they can reserve, or if they say, oh, I need to speak to my family or something, they're on. Then you literally just explain to them, yeah, no, I totally understand that you need the extra reassurance. But like I explained, in reserving this deal, you get a call-off period where this deal would be fully refundable that call-off period. So you can reserve it now, and then you can speak with your family, do due diligence, because this deal is time sensitive.
And go see the property.
Exactly.
Probably, yeah.
And then you just say, look, this deal is time sensitive. If you lose out, if you go speak to your family, someone else is going to take this deal, and then we're back to square one. You're losing out on money. So do you want to be in that position? So that's like the main step. So he taught me.
So how many leads did you have, and then how many deals did you close in that week?
So we had about seven deals, and we closed 3 of them.
Right.
We closed 3 of them because we had a target of amount to make, right?
Yeah.
Although I wanted to make as much as possible, but like it would just be never endless, right?
But 3 in a week.
3.
At what? $6,000 each?
Yeah, it was 3 days we actually done that one.
Yeah.
3
Yeah,
days.
and in that week you also went up to Manchester to find a house to buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty good money.
I know, ridiculous money. Like some would say, oh, it's because I had Samuel on my side, which that made a big, because all I would need to say, like what he done, we used Deal Connect before Deal Connect was even out. So it was like pre-Deal Connect where he put my number on the CRM system, but we had the deals there. So they would call up and then I would speak. So I did have that backing as well, like the status of Samuel representing this deal. But that being said, I've implemented those techniques afterwards, and I've been making some ridiculous.
But then how many potential buyers did you actually speak to?
I spoke to like 10 potential buyers.
Okay.
And 5 of them were serious. 5 of them were serious. So 3 of them bought the deals, and the other 2, I then ended up selling deals the next month afterwards.
Yeah.
So what Samuel done, which was very nice, he said, look, Elijah, all of these people that called you up, your number's gonna stay on the CRM system for like a few more days, a week or so. If they text you, you can then find your other deals and start selling them. So that was really good. So I had these people in my connection. I literally had like 25 people that popped up. Some were unserious. Some I still haven't even reached back out to them, which I'm gonna do after this podcast because I just remembered. I had that base of people from Samuel's investor list, which was really good. So we made that 23 grand, and we was happy because it was actually quicker than expected. Samuel thought I'd be in his house for a long time, but we actually done that. But then it came to a big issue, which kind of struck me and my beliefs and faith, because in the eviction, I actually after the eviction I converted to Islam. One reason was because, as you know, in eviction there was a lot of struggles. I was doing terrible in the challenges, and it came to one of I think it was the second challenge, where we refurbed the hotel, and then we had to get most bookings in the team, and I was a leader. But I'd done terrible as a leader, and it was me and Jagan. No, it was me and Shimon at the end, and it was between me and him. And I only just beat him because I had an extra £10 off the booking. Otherwise, I would have been out. And at that point, Samuel literally told me, look, Elijah, if you are in the losing team again, that's it. You're out. Like, there's no questions asked.
Yeah.
And like, he meant that. He really meant that. But I felt like Samuel had a soft spot for me as well, because for him to allow me in, like, it was facts. I did have more. I made more bookings than Shimon by extra £10. But I still feel like Samuel, he said that, but he had a soft spot for me where he just wanted me to like show that fire in the next challenge as well.
Yeah.
But that really like resonated in me, because it was a big reason why I wanted to win the eviction, and because I got made redundant from work, literally got fired and paid in a state of like, I was in a state of survival where I wasn't now getting income. I couldn't even speak to my family or tell them I got fired because it was just embarrassing. They knew I signed up on this academy, and I didn't really tell, oh my days, what is going on? And they knew I signed up on the academy, but I didn't really tell anyone what it was about, what I'm doing. Like, I just wanted to do this on my own as a lone wolf and show them with results and action. But then when I got fired from work and they knew I was putting so much effort in this property stuff, I was just embarrassed to just tell anyone. And now I had lack of income coming in.
Yeah,
I couldn't pay for
must have been
bills.
hard.
It was even hard for me to tell my girlfriend. So I was now in a place of like, damn, what am I doing with life right now? I need to make this work, right? And then obviously, luckily, I got accepted in the eviction. Also, another big reason why I even stepped in the academy is because no one in my family owned properties. My mum, she was adopted by Australian parents. She had a poor upbringing with, adoption. My dad had a poor upbringing. He actually went to prison when he was younger for stuff which wasn't his fault, like police racism, all of that. Racist police in which he assaulted one of the police. I'm just being honest here. And he got sent to prison. So I've been in a family that's had a very poor upbringing. So I wanted to like make a difference and like treat them. So that was one of my big reasons why. And I was one of it. Yeah. So I was talking about the eviction. So that night, I then called the missus up, Banafsha, my girlfriend, and I literally said to her, look, this is the position I'm in. I'm flipping struggling in this. Like, I don't know what to do. And she said, look, Elijah, I'm going to pray for you. You should try to pray as well. I've been to the mosque once with one of my friends, and she's a Muslim. And she was just like, look, just pray. Like, whenever you feel like you're in disbelief or you're losing strength, pray to God. No matter what religion or method, what religion you're doing it in, just pray to God and He will give you that strength. So I done it in the Islamic way. I was bringing Allah's name into it, although it wasn't like step by step because I didn't know how to speak Arabic, I don't know how to pray properly. I was doing my best. And that night, I actually had a dream that I woke up in Samuel's house. Bearing in mind, I've never seen his mansion before. And it was literally his mansion and everyone was cheering like that I've won the eviction, like with champagnes. And it felt so real. And I was just like, oh my days, like, whoa, I won. I then woke up in the morning in the next challenge.
It must have been so disappointing to wake up.
I know. I woke up in the morning, literally. I woke up in the morning, I was just like, oh my God. And it was one of those ones that I woke up so tired. So tired. And then I realized, wait, I didn't win. And I was like, wait, that was a dream. If I win this year, then that's surely a sign. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to tell anyone about that. I'm going to keep it with myself, but I'm going to like now put in the work because I need to prove myself that I can't be having a dream like that and losing. You know, I'm going to be so gutted after. It's like, what the hell was that all about? I got a dream. Am I that much of a loser? Like, I got a dream of winning and I lost in real life. So now that gave me extra motivation to win. Yeah. And I actually did end up winning.
So yeah, look, we'll talk more about the eviction later, but just to sum up the Financial Freedom Challenge. So you went from having £2,000 in the bank, but also that was already earmarked for other things, to being able to buy a house, and buying a house within a week, and making £20,000 in a week. So
£23,000 in that week, and it was like half of it was not half of it. 3/4 of it was used for the property, and the rest was now used for me actually purchasing the ring for the missus. A true story of this as well. So with that ring, we had 3 rings, and Samuel said, "Oh yeah, choose one." And I was like, "Oh, she does like this one because I know she likes like the pear shapes, and that's her size." But this ring was like 2K above the
others.
margin, the profit.
Oh right. Oh okay.
What's it called? The budget. 2K above the budget. And so I was like, you know, we don't have that amount, Elijah. Let's just go for this one. Trust me, she will still like it. And I was like, Samuel, she's a woman. You know, woman. He's like, yeah, true. He's like, you know what? Pick it. So I picked it up, and then Samuel brought out his gold express card, and he actually tapped. So
Really?
he actually paid that remaining for it, which I respect him highly, because for him to do that, I just know he's just such a great man.
Yeah. But you didn't have to pay him back, right? Or
didn't have to pay him back.
Oh.
That's just out of his good heart and will, and that's where I just knew, from him helping me anyway, I'm gonna be an asset to him. I'm always gonna.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I
big
think
him
getting
up.
to spend a week with him, people would pay hundreds of thousands, a million for that, or more.
So I will always.
And it's going to be worth that to you, like in the long run, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So you won that amazing prize by spending a month on the Eviction.
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, is like it's like The Apprentice, but Samuel Leeds' like property version of The Apprentice.
The better version of The Apprentice.
Yeah. So yeah, what was that like? You've already said a little bit about that, but and yeah, you were almost out a few times.
Yeah, I was almost out. Look, I'm gonna tell a story which I haven't even said before. I didn't feel like it was a need to say. But before going on the Eviction, so the Eviction started, and we all had to have a day of doing like the pre videos and the photos for like the trailer and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that was the day before actually starting the challenges. So before I actually went on the Eviction, so obviously, you know, I was in a survival state, got made redundant. I'm now at this bottom peak, and it's like, if I now lost that challenge, I'll be in an even worse peak, and I'll have to start from scratch, square one, and just tell my family, look, I'm a failure, this and that. But I'll never be a failure, because that's not my mindset. But before going on the Eviction, there was actually a networking event. It was like a crypto event with a friend of mine back in school who was literally, he came from the hood and went into the crypto side of things. So it was like, so I went to it. I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to this. I didn't want to go because I knew I needed to rest before going to the Eviction. But I ended up going with my brother anyway, just to see how it is. If I can get a few contacts to go on Eviction, because my whole aim was, I'm gonna kind of study and learn a bit more of the educational strategies and stuff for the Eviction. But I've realized the biggest thing is my contacts, because I had like quite a big media. I had my twin fitness Instagram with my brother.
Right.
And I just knew whatever the challenges were, I knew one of the challenges would be a deal sourcing challenge. Or whatever it is, connections and network would be a big thing. So I wanted to go to that networking event. What actually happened in that event was that there was a lot of people that weren't supposed to be there. A lot of people from the hood, a few drug dealers. Like it just turned from something that was professional in the beginning to just like a whole flipping, like they call it in my era, roadman party. So it turned into that. I then ended up leaving because everyone was all drunk, and it just wanted a networking event now. So I ended up leaving early, and I went and headed to the elevator to leave this building apartment because it was a penthouse network party. And there was two guys, and I was with a friend of mine. There was two guys that were just there waiting, and they were just looking at me, like screwing me. I was like, no, please don't do this. And I just looked at him back, and I was like, is everything okay? Like literally, because I'm about to head in this elevator, and as soon as I turn my head, boom, the guy just punches me, smacks me around my of the face, and he goes to punch me again. Obviously, I've got fighting. I've done mixed martial arts, so from self-defense now, I literally dodged the punch, and we start like scrapping. I ended up actually, it's this self-defense. I ended up breaking his nose, but what happened was there was all blood around my clothes. He started that whole fight, just punched me out of no reason. His friends stole a watch of mine, which was gifted from a family member, and they stole my chain and my wallet. And this chain was a gold chain that I've never taken off as a child. Like it was like my lucky chain, because it was the chain that would distinguish me and my brother as twins when we was young. Had an E on it, and he had the S one. It was actually gifted by my uncle. Much love to him. So he actually stole his friend stole this chain, and I feel like that happened because I was wearing that. It was like a little small baby gold chain. And I just, like, that was the day before the eviction. So I'm like, what, this happened? I got punched, my face was swollen. Like, I lost my lucky chain. I literally got no hope of winning this eviction. Like, I told my family, like, this is what happened. And they were just like, oh my days. It was like, look, my dad literally told me, look, maybe this is for a reason. Like, don't be too disheartened with when it comes to bad things, good things come through it. So I didn't let that affect me. But I don't know if you noticed, but in the eviction, one of my face was like a bit swollen on the side.
Was it? I didn't notice.
Yeah,
no.
so I was like, I just kept that quiet because I've now just come to the eviction quite angry. Like, why would they do that? And I've lost this chain. Like, what am I flipping? I literally went from this peak to now even lower peak because I've lost that chain. I've now feel like shit.
Yeah.
So we started eviction and I'm in that state already. So I was like, you know, let me forget. Let's just be on a brand new start. Let me do what I do best. Just be myself, be genuine. You know, I'm quite of a social person. I'm quite kind to everyone. And then literally the competition I had was immense. We had brilliant Bex, yeah. We had Bex who owns so many businesses. She's just you just look at her, you can tell she's a businesswoman. You had Ruben, which is like, he's just such one of them guys where you just like, I did not want to go against Ruben in the eviction boardroom. Like, he was one of them guys I kept telling myself, I do not want to go against him. If it was me and him, I don't want to be that person to chat against him. Because I just felt like he would just beat me in any argument. Any verbal argument, he would just beat me. So I was like, all right, I need to work with Ruben. I do not want to get on his bad side. I didn't want that challenge. And he had so many other brilliant people and candidates. And I was just like, oh, damn, this is going to be challenging. But let me just give it my best shot. I'm just going to keep being real and genuine. And I feel like in the eviction, I was just the only one that was genuine and not playing the game. It came to the first challenge. I was partnered up with 𝐂𝐤𝐺𝐬, and she was actually a friend of mine before we were in the eviction. Like, we were close. So I don't know if that was something which Samuel and the team knew and grouped us together, but it was good in the beginning. And then I started seeing her true colours when it came to working together. And
were you the team that spilled paint on the carpet on the first round?
Yeah. And that was not myself. That was 𝐂𝐤𝐺𝐬. But she did blame me.
Really?
She blamed me on camera. Off camera, she knew it was herself, but on camera, she tried to blame me. Bless her. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Like, 𝐂𝐤𝐺𝐬, if you're watching this, you know there's much love for you. It wasn't. She didn't do it on purpose, but it was the fact that we were all stressed.
Yeah.
I did tell her, look, we're in a position where we have the carpet down. We shouldn't even be painting right now, but we are. So right now in this position, you are wearing shoes. Like, take it off and let's just like be gentle. She's like, no, it's fine. Look, man, I'm not gonna spoil anything. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Literally in that minute, she came in and whacked it with the shoes, and it was something which I've told her like to do, and she just didn't listen.
Okay.
So it was like, for me, I was like, bro, I told you. So that's what happened.
But it's easily done. My car
Yeah.
has got a white stain where I spilt some paint doing my essay. So yeah, it happens all the time.
No, it does happen. But now this is the thing where in eviction, like, you know, the mentors, when it comes to the boardroom, you have to now pick out stuff from other people because you want to be victorious, right?
Then it's every man for himself.
Every
right?
man for himself. You have to kick out the weakest link. So on that first eviction boardroom, that was the most challenging to me because I didn't know how to throw people under the bus. I knew what she done, but it's like I just wasn't. I felt bad to say certain stuff. So I was just like, oh. So Samuel was like, Elijah, like, come on, like, what did she do wrong? Why should you be a victim, not her?
So was it down to you and her?
Yeah, it was down to me and her at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was also the other guy went out.
Praveen. So
yeah.
that situation was, I actually stayed in the room with Praveen. Praveen was so lovely. He was my good friend. I need to reach out to him after this podcast still. But he stayed with me, and he kept telling me like, oh, he hates working with Ruben. Ruben's so bossy. He's not giving him a chance. Like, Ruben's not a person's person. He's not a team worker. He's just doing everything himself and telling him to do this, do that. And when he tries...
Yeah, and Prav was just sort of sent off to go and get stuff, and he wasn't really there, and then he got sort of criticised for that.
Yeah, he got criticised. So when Samuel asked me, like, look, Elijah, who should go, Ruben or Prav? And I see Prav's face, and it's like, I stayed that challenge was the longest. So that challenge was 3 days.
Right.
And we stayed in the room, but 4 days. In fact, I spent 4 days with Prav. He was giving me his toothpaste. He gave me a few snacks. And I forgot my washing stuff. Like, I'm someone that forgets stuff like that. And like, I just, because of my ADHD, I lose focus on that and I just focus on the other thing.
Yeah.
So he gave me a lot of things, which I really appreciate. So when he asked me that question, I just looked at Prav and Ruben. I never knew Ruben at that point, but I knew that he was stronger in that challenge. So I kind of was like,
well, yeah, because he's done a lot of
he's
BRRs.
exactly.
He brought a van. He had his whole van there and all his tools and
He
everything.
definitely was stronger, and I'm not gonna go lie to Samuel's face. So I kind of stumbled, and Samuel was like, "Are you not gonna say who should get evicted? Like, why are you taking long?" Like, and if you can see in the edit, I took like 3-5, like nearly a flipping minute to fucking answer. But I was just like, if I say Prav, like, should be evicted, then like, fuck, I feel bad because like, I like Prav, but then I'm not. I want to be honest. And then I was thinking as well, look, if I get Prav out, I already know Samuel's gonna keep Ruben in. I calculated this because Ruben's a stronger character and he was very entertaining. So I was like, you know what? If I go for Prav right now and Ruben stays in, Ruben's then gonna go for me in another challenge. I kind of like, I was just being honest, but I was like, I don't want this to go against me as well. Like, in that sense. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna say Prav and just be honest right now because Ruben was the strongest. Prav hated it. Prav wanted to fight me afterwards.
Really?
He was that pissed. But it was like, I'm being honest, and I knew who Samuel was gonna choose. It's quite clear. Plus Ruben was just entertaining. Why are they gonna get rid of such an entertaining guy? He was funny as hell, making everyone laugh. So that's what happened. And it got down to Ruben actually going back and then me and Pragati.
Right.
And yeah, so it was hard for me to get Pragati out, but it's like I didn't really say anything that she done bad.
I might have to get Pragati on the show to get her point of view, especially about the kicking over the paint.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I would love to hear her. If she was here right now, I would love to have another conversation because you do realize it. After the eviction, Pragati hated me.
Really?
We're only just friends now, again. But she said to me.
I mean, the thing is, it is a game show.
I know.
And the whole point of it is to get. That's where the entertainment comes from. Is to get the people.
Yeah.
You know, again, to
Exactly.
fire up that tension between you. That's what it's all about. But, so at the end of the day, when you need to just put it all behind you. And,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like she was so. She said, "Look, Elijah, look, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy, but I'm always gonna be salty against you now." And then literally after that, like there was a lot of things with another academy member, which she was fabricating stuff that I apparently said, which wasn't true. Like, I can laugh at it to this day right now with another academy. I'm not going to disclose what happened, but there was a lot of stuff that was fabricated. And like, it was a academy member she was speaking to that was a business partner at the time, which they're not business partners no more because they dispersed from each other because of this situation of knowing the manipulations. But this person was going to, she apparently told this person to go to Samuel and tell him to kick out Elijah from the eviction. It was just crazy stuff. I was just like, oh my days, like more dramas after dramas. I already got punched in the face and got my chain robbed before going to the show. And now I'm getting people just hating on me. Even Pragati, who I thought was a friend beforehand, just hating me. So then after that challenge, it then came to booking. Who gets the most bookings of the refurbed rooms. Yeah. And another funny part is we lost to the girls. Bex ended up selling a very big booking, like a huge one. I was just thinking, flip, Bex is such a strong character. I already knew she was. I got told by Ibby and Husland beforehand that she would be a challenge. So I just knew, when it gets to that point with me and Bex, I wanna just stay on her side, work with her. But the girls team won, and it was boys team that's lost. So I'm in the losing team again. Now we're all just going at each other. I was a leader. And I was quite a terrible leader because we've lost, right? Samuel was like, look, a leader has to lead by example and you've lost. Again. And so they were all using that to advantage. Not Ruben though. Ruben had nice things to say. Me and Ruben, you know what it is? Me and Ruben are the closest right now. Like I only speak to Ruben after the eviction, which is surprising. Not surprising, but I never knew from how he was as a character initially. So Ruben had nothing bad to say about me. We clicked in a lot. it was 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 that attacked me. There was one scene here where 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 wanted to do the admin stuff to calculate things, and he was calculating in his head. He had a calculator there, which me and Ruben told him to use a calculator, but he wanted to do it in his head, and he made mistakes. So I just thought, all right, when it comes to that boardroom, I'm gonna have that in my head. But one thing people need to realize here, when you get to that boardroom, like a lot of stuff is edited, but the boardroom's not edited. Like when you're there, that's live. If you stutter or anything, that's just going live. So, and then when you're in the boardroom, it's like you go blank and you forget everything that's happened on the challenge. So what I had to do was like kind of write a note, like this is what happened, because otherwise I'll just go in that boardroom, flip and forget. Like that's what happened.
Or you really just wrote a note on your hand,
on the phone, and then I had to like the night before I had to flip and memorize like this is what's happened. Because once you're in that boardroom, the cameras go on and they say what happened here. It's
a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. So I knew, all right, I have that one thing which really annoyed me, but I still didn't bring that up. 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 jumped to me saying, look, Elijah should be evicted. He was a terrible leader. He done this and that. He got, because one of the girls jumped on me for making the nightly rate lower than what it was. But my whole idea of that, which it was a collective with us guys, was if you give a discount initially, they'll give a good review, then we can get more bookings. And the review is they can.
That's a long-term view, but you weren't really doing the long-term thing.
No, we weren't doing a long-term. So it was a bit of a mistake there, but it was a different strategy. But he was jumping on that. And then I mentioned the whole calculator stuff. And then he was really just shouting and like really yapping a lot. And it clearly showed that he was like, he felt threatened. He knew he was on that point of just getting out. So he tried to jump on me first. Like I was just calm and collective. I always kept calm in the eviction boardrooms, which a lot of people said they respected. So it actually came to a point where he actually got evicted. He was salty afterwards as well. But I guess, like, if I was in a losing team, if I lost, I wouldn't actually get salty. That's just because I've lost a lot of things in my life. And it's just like, I would learn from it and just be like, no, well done, that was so good.
Yeah, like, I was there for the inner circle that they had. And I knew Natalie a little bit beforehand.
Yeah.
In fact, she phoned me to try and sell me a deal on the deal selling challenge, and obviously that was the night she went out.
Yeah.
And she seemed to take it really well, and that's why I said it's a game show. That came from her. She said it's just a game show. It's not real life. All the tension, everything is artificial and manufactured. Yeah. For the TV, for the show, right? And that's true to an extent, but then at the same time, when you're living it, when you're in it, I can understand that it feels real and it is real in a way. You are put in situations where you might do things that offend people or in ways that are difficult to forgive.
I know.
But
exactly. Yeah, Natalie took it like a champ. Like that's Ruben took it like a champ. Most people did take it like a champ, but it was it was a few people that just really took it personal. But then afterwards, 𝐂𝐤𝐥𝐤 said, look, Elijah, the reason why I really attacked you like that is because I have this feeling that you're going to win. Like he had this feeling. I was like, oh, well, cheers, man, thanks. But he said he felt threatened. So that was like a compliment.
Yeah.
And then it was me and Shimon in the bottom two of that boys group because Ruben, he got the most bookings. So he was just smashing it. So he got through.
So he wasn't too worried.
So it was me and Shimon, and Shimon is just such a lovely. I don't know if you've met Shimon before.
No.
Yeah, he's like one of the nicest guys you can meet. He's he's Polish, and like he had Samuel asked Shimon, was Elijah a bad leader? And Shimon said, oh no, he wasn't. And then Samuel was like, so then why should I evict him and not you? Then if he wasn't, he was like, well, because like we both worked hard, but I feel he did lead well. And Samuel's like, oh, okay, well, if you're gonna tell me he's led well, then there's no argument here. Shimon, like you should be out. And that's how he actually got out.
He shot himself in the foot a little bit.
So he actually shot himself in the foot, but he was being honest. So I do respect his honesty, and I always have respect for Shimon, because in that deal selling challenge, the next challenge, he actually helped. There was a few people that he said, look, these people are wanting deals. Like two people. So I actually called up one of them, and one of them actually sold a deal. And so big shout out to Shimon.
Or you sold him a deal later on in the eviction, or late afterwards?
No, so he passed me over someone that would want a deal.
Oh, I see. He passed you.
So like I actually sold this person a deal, which like that really helped. So I big him up for that. But yeah, that challenge was the one where Samuel said, "This is your last straw," and I already explained my situation of me having a dream, and I woke up and I boom, waiting the deal selling challenge though, and I knew this is my bread and butter. This is where I can excel because I do have a lot of contacts. I already was building up network.
And you were used to networking with your previous career in bodybuilding and stuff with your brother.
So I was just used to just going out there speaking to people. And our mentor was Elliot and Leo.
Yeah.
First time meeting them, and they are my good friends now. Leo is an absolute brilliant mentor. She was, when I was selling deals, she was getting those contracts in left, right, center. So it was like a mini power team. But I was like non-stop on them phone calls, because the more phone calls you make, the more the more success you're gonna get, right? So I knew it was a numbers game. Yeah. And I was partnered up with Lauren and Lavinia. And Lauren was working on finding the deals, but like they couldn't keep up with the energy and like my drive in that challenge. And Lavinia, bless her, she wasn't really a deal sourcer. She never sold a deal before, and she didn't really know how to stack a deal. So she knew she was in a vulnerable position, but I tried to help her out a bit. But
so that was a deal selling challenge. How long was that? Several days?
That was only 2 days.
2 days, yeah. And then the because I was there on for that inner circle, which was the second day, and then the boardroom actually happened while we were still there.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah, so then the challenge was Samuel wants to see one of like people actually sell a deal in that inner circle. I think it was only, I don't know if I'm being correct here, but I think it was only me that sold a deal to someone on that inner circle. It was 2 people, in fact. I think maybe.
I mean, that's tough because it wasn't there was a decent number of people there, but it wasn't a huge number of people. And you can't just assume that everyone there is going to be ready to buy a deal. I mean, I wasn't going to buy a deal.
Oh no.
And probably most people are. So yeah, it's pretty hard.
It was hard, and to be fair, I was the only one to use the tech. I feel like in the Eviction, everyone was thinking outside the box, but I was like thinking much more creative. Like even when it came to the refurb, I got contractor in. A lot of people would say that was cheating,
but they never said that was cheating. You couldn't do that before. Yeah.
Tim actually liked the idea. No one's ever done that before. Samuel was just like, okay, you're using your network. When it came to the deal selling, I was selling deals, but I got people on bespoke sourcing as well, which a lot of other people would have said, oh, that's cheating, you have to sell a deal. But the mentors literally said, look, that's smart. Like, if you don't have the deals already, literally tell them, look, let me know your criteria. We can get an upfront fee right now. Yeah. And then I can go out and find you this deal. So that's what I done to those people in the actual inner circle, which is good.
So, but then obviously getting them on bespoke, that's not gonna benefit you within the eviction time frame, but you've got them on you. Yeah. But at least it counted. It showed that you were thinking beyond that, which the judges would have thought that was good. So exactly. It was worth doing.
Yeah. And then so I ended up selling the most deals as an individual in that challenge. So Simon was like, look, we drew, both teams drew, but I sold the most as an individual. So Simon was like, look, Elijah, this is a no-brainer. Like, you was in the bottom 2 for the first 2 challenges, and you've come on top. You've literally like surprised me, and you just literally just chucked it back in my face. Look, you're safe. Go back to the room.
So that must have been a relief.
Yeah, I was so happy. It was a relief. And then we came to the lease option agreement challenge. You know what? To be fair, I was studying lease option agreements because I knew this hotel, Samuel bought it for £1, and everyone else was
the hotel that you were in, Willingham House.
Yeah, the Willingham House. He got on a lease option agreement, a £1 deposit, and I thought this is gonna be like one of them poetic stories where we're in his lease option. It's gonna be a lease option challenge. Everyone else told me it'll be a BRR. They were studying BRRs. No one studied any lease options. Even Pragati was trying to study BRRs, but I didn't touch BRRs. I can't lie. I literally just went straight into studying a lease option. Kind of guessed it, and it was right. So then we got into a lease option challenge, and the whole idea was in the 2 days, which is difficult. You have to get heads of terms signed. So not a legal binding contract, heads of terms where that landlord has agreed the terms, and you will sign it basically. And yeah, it was challenging. I actually realized I had an existing landlord before that was open to a rent to rent in near months. He told me basically contact him in near months if they haven't sold this property, because they'll be open to something like that.
Right.
And I actually reached out to them, again using my contacts.
Yeah.
And he was open to the idea, and he was happy with the structure and everything. So me and Bex ended up winning that challenge because we had to sign heads of terms.
Yeah.
Which was good.
And didn't Bex get a big deal as well? Or was that a different challenge? Bex, didn't she sell a big deal?
Yeah, that was the deal selling challenge. She
sold same challenge.
Yeah, she sold a big deal. It was a 10,000 deal.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. I think it was a commercial to
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. So was that the last deal, last challenge before the final?
Before the final, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the finals was now business planning with me and Bex.
Yeah.
And that's one thing, like, I didn't think it. There was a few people. Pragati in the beginning was just thinking about the business plans. We were doing a refurb, but she kept saying, "Oh, what are you gonna do for your business plan?" And I just, in my head, I was like, "What is she on about? We're in this challenge. Just think about the moment. Stop going a step ahead." Like I literally told her, "I don't know. I'm just gonna take it step by step." So it came to the business plan now, and I've never done one before. Bex, I was quite worried because Bex has done so many business plans, so I just knew she's gonna beat me in this. And I just thought, what can I do to just make myself stand out? Yeah. And Samuel said, it's going to be a business plan, but you both are going to speak on stage as one.
So it had the public speaking element.
Yeah, so it had the public speaking. So I said, all right, cool. I'm gonna attack that and just make that great. Although Samuel said, look, it's just going to be public speaking. I'm not going to judge anyone on that. It's going to be mainly on the business plan. But I just had this feeling like, no, there's no way. Like I know Samuel's one of them people that like to. Like no one, if someone just comes out perfect, how can you teach them? Like I'm someone that I've listened to the mentors throughout and I've progressed throughout. Like I was in the losing team and I showed progression in being a leader, in just fighting, showing that resilience. So I just knew that this public speaking would be more of an edge, and Samuel would actually take this. Although he said he's not going to judge it, he would kind of like use that. So I was like, all right, I'm going to focus on this public speaking. So I just briefly done a business plan, used ChatGPT.
And was it Russell who picked you up on that? Yeah, he could tell.
It was was actually Tony. He saw American spelling. And Russell said, and I literally said, this wasn't on camera, but I said off camera. They edited it out, but I literally said to them, guys, look, you guys have a Samuel Leeds AI, right? ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like, it's the new generation. Am I not going to use it to just quicken things up instead of me just going in, doing punctuation, this and that? Look, I know what I need to do. I had a mentor call with Sue. She told me about stretcher goals, which are like goals, like, you know,
there would be goals that would be difficult to hit, but you can aim for them anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So she was like, just think of like your week goals and your month and your year. So it's like, so I just had it there, ChatGPT. I knew I wanted to go into BRRs, but for me to get to BRRs, I need to deal source, make some money, put that into BRRs, have on the side a bit of cash for rent to rent. So it was just like brief. But they came to the story and I just knew, all right, this is in London. A lot of these people are going to relate. I want to be relatable. So I literally just told the truth of my story, like how I signed up, what's happened. Like, you know, like there's a lot of people. I'm a normal person. I'm not anyone special. Like if I can do it, anyone else can do it. So I was just explaining my whole story.
Yeah, I mean, we only got to see a few little snippets of each of your talks, but I think you did do well on the public speaking.
Yeah. I've got a whole video.
Have you?
There was some parts in there which I made it funny, so I put a bit of humor in there. But it was, apparently, like majority voted for myself having the better story.
Because he got them to got them to vote on it, didn't they? Yeah.
So that same night, like a lot of people popped up on my Instagram saying, Elijah, you smashed the story. And these are people I don't even know. They were like, you're definitely going to win. So after that, we then drove to Samuel's house.
Straight after the crash course?
Straight after. drove to his house, and that's when the eviction boardroom took place. But I had a few people like messaging me on Instagram saying, "Look, you smashed it!" Like
so were you confident going into that?
I was kind of confident. I can't lie. I was confident because I had a lot of people saying, "Look, you had more hands voting for you," and these are people I don't know, random people. So I was like, "Oh, it is like I actually could win this now." But then when we got to the eviction boardroom, Samuel loves it. I thought I was just gonna get kicked out because he was just grilling me so much. Like, he was like, "Look,"
but it's tension for
I know.
for the TV show.
Exactly.
If it was a normal like competition where it wasn't being filmed, it would have been totally different. But it was. You got to remember, there's that whole extra element of theatrics.
Exactly. But like at that point, my heart's going up, down. I'm like, oh my gosh. So what was the point of? I thought I guessed that the public speaking would be the winner breaking point, and then I realized, oh damn, it actually wasn't. It's this business plan. I got it totally wrong. Then I realized after he said, "Look, you're the winner." And I was still even surprised because Samuel said to me, "Look, what?" He asked Bex, "What does Elijah do terribly? What would you say about him?" And she just said it straight away. He's a waffler. I think he waffles. He wastes a lot of time in speaking this and that. And then Samuel asked me, and I just didn't really know what to say to Bex. And then,
what to say?
Yeah, that bad. But it was like, you know what?
She had won every challenge.
She won every challenge.
A lot of business stuff.
Yeah,
she's great. Yeah.
And I actually ended up saying she's not creative, and someone was like, "What is it? How is she not creative? She's a painter."
Yeah.
But what I meant was like,
in terms of problem solving.
Creativity and problem solving. Like she's just so to the books, and like taking instructions how it is. But sometimes in business, you have to go outside the box. You have to take these crazy risks. And yeah, I think Samuel liked it, but he definitely saw something in me because I literally told Samuel, "Look, if you make me victorious here, I'm going to be such an asset to you. I'm going to be not only reaching out to the property people in the network, I've got fitness people, I've got art people. I'm going to be blowing up on media, not only in this property world. I already have fitness stuff going on. So I'm going to bring your name out, reaching the wider audience." And Samuel obviously was just like, that's music to his ears, right? He's like, "Look, this guy's already..."
Yeah, because the Eviction is, there was no other sponsors on the show. It was all, so for him it is marketing.
Yeah, exactly. And marketing is a big thing. And then I brought my brother involved afterwards. It's now with both families involved. And we're going to be not the future, but we are the Property Twins 2.0. We're looking to take on a hotel together. So that will be a good story as well.
Cool. So we've talked about Financial Freedom Challenge. We talked about the Eviction. What are you doing now?
Yeah.
How has it changed your life?
You know what? It's changed my life mostly on my network now properly. Like I've got a lot of not only investors. Everywhere I go in London, I'm getting stopped left, right, centre.
Really?
Literally getting stopped. Literally, the other day I was in the trampoline park with Mrs. And literally all tired, just spending a good. We do it every Sunday because we take my Mrs. Her little sister, my sister-in-law. She's severely autistic, but she loves a trampoline. So I take her there. I jump with her, do flips, and then a family literally stopped me over and said, "Look, you're Elijah. I literally I've watched the whole video. It's like I know you inside out." And they started like picking out parts that happened in the Financial Freedom Challenge. I said hello to Banafsha because they obviously recognize her as well. And I got them on a best book. Just from there. Cool. And I wasn't even in the business mindset. They just got my phone out. They were like, "Look, I'm looking to find this deal. Is this something that you can help us in?" And I was like, "Yeah, just put your number in here." I feel like
you got money off them there and then?
I got money off them that night.
Yeah.
So not there and then. That night, literally called them up and they sent the money in the account. So it definitely has made things easier because now I don't really need... I've proved myself. I've done the hard work in Eviction. Now my brand's up there where they know my image. They know that I've been backed from Samuel. I've been trained by Samuel. So all I need to do is just implement the techniques. I've got that back, that back up there. So I've been still selling non-stop. I've been averaging around 10 to 20, 20 bars a month in deal sourcing. This month, I've slowed down on the deal sourcing because I've obviously built up a capital. I've now been wanting to take on these assets because Samuel gave me the goal to be a property millionaire by the end of next year. And I ended up buying another property, short lease extension. So that would, after refinance, that would...
So it's been about 6-7 months, right?
It's been 5 months. Yeah, 5 months now.
5 months? Oh, so it was January when you were filming the...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, January. So it's been 5 months. And yeah, so I've got that lease extension property. I'm buying another property this week, literally. And yeah.
So you got the one that you bought during the Financial Freedom Challenge, and you're buying another one now. And you've got any others? Well, you got the lease option.
Yeah, I've got the lease extension. So I've got two.
Lease extension.
Yeah, 2 currently right now, and I'm buying another one this week. So that would potentially be my third. Well, it's going to be my third. I've got investor finance. I've literally, investors lent me over 80,000 on a loan agreement. I'm giving them 15% return in that year. So I'm going to find a deal that,
So in 1 year, you've gone from getting fired, having to return your fiance's wedding ring to get some money, having hardly anything in the bank, to making 10 grand a month, and you own owning 3 properties.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
No, honestly, it's like if it was the Elijah before doing this eviction, joining the academy, I would have just thought that would be crazy. Like, I've done that in under a flipping year.
Under a year.
That's ridiculous. And in my head right now, it's like
10 months because the eviction started it was August, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's
10,
June.
Yeah, exactly 10 months. And right now, it's like it is hard work. It was a lot of hard work, but it's like I know the formula. It's so simple. All I need to do is find an investor that doesn't have the time, doesn't really have the education, but they want to make an extra return, and they understand that they can get a higher return on investment or interest back from just investing money into myself instead of the banks, where it's guaranteed legal binding contracts. I can use that money to invest in a property where I can refinance or flip, give them back that money back, and then I have a cash flowing asset. Yeah. So like
so you're going to start keeping more of the deals for yourself now that you've got some money to invest. And the thing is, the way we're taught is to do BRR. Once you've got enough to buy one property, you get the money back when you do the refinance.
Exactly.
So it's not like you need to do it the old-fashioned way where you save up a deposit and then you need to go and earn another deposit if you want to buy another house. You can use the same money over and over again.
Exactly.
So you're going to stop deal sourcing and just keep recycling the money you've already made. Yeah?
You know what? I will never stop deal sourcing, but I'm not going to be heavy, because you know what I'm doing currently right now as well. I'm also doing deal selling challenges.
Yes.
Which I like to film for my YouTube. So I need to post more on it. I've just been focusing on this refurb on the lease extension property, but soon I'm going to systemize everything. That's one big struggle of mine, systemizing. I need more PAs. I need everything all flowing because I do like the media stuff. Yeah. So deal selling challenges, I'll get that on YouTube, on the YouTube videos. Cause
we're in Oxford right now.
Yeah.
You're going to speak to our Oxford Inner Circle this evening.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be staying on a couple of days to to find a deal. Exactly. And Oxford, people do say that Oxford is really hard. It's an expensive area, so it's harder to find a BRR. But you're going to find one, yeah? I'm
going to find one. Look, I like hard, I like pressure, I like the challenge. It just it fuels me. So
great.
Let's see how the market is. I'm going to go to them agents. What agent do you recommend?
I don't know. See, although I live here, I don't really see this as my patch for investing because of those reasons.
Those reasons.
My investments are mostly up north.
Yeah.
I am about to do a rent to rent here.
Okay.
Because I think that can work well.
Is it rent to HMO or rent to SA?
SA. But that was easy to find because it's owned by my dad, and he's had it rented out on as a single let for years, and they've told him they want to move out, and now I know that this is a good area for SA.
Yeah.
When that tenant moved in, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't need to find that deal. It was
you didn't need to find it.
I hope you. Good luck with things over the next couple of days.
100%.
So if people want to work with you, if people want you to find them a deal,
where
can they find you? And you've got your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Tell us, how can people get in touch with you?
So you can get in touch with me on Instagram. My name is Elijah Ramsay _property. You will see, I've pinned up a few images there with my newspaper article with Samuel Leeds, with the podcast that I've been featured in with Andrew Tate and Samuel Leeds. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok is all the same name, and YouTube is Elijah Ramsay _property as well.
Cool. Okay. Well,
Brilliant.
Thank you very much for coming. It's been really great to
I enjoy this.
Yeah?
I enjoy this very much.
Okay, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking with us to the end of this episode of the Self Unemployed Podcast. The fact that you're still here tells me that you are serious about building wealth, finding a higher purpose for your life, and beating the system that's designed to keep you down. Now take the next step towards financial freedom by clicking the link in the description to join our newsletter if you haven't already, and take your first steps to becoming self-unemployed.